Mostly cloudy today. We'll get to around 50 for a high this afternoon. The wind out of the southwest at 5 to 15. Tonight, it's going to be cloudy with a low down to 39. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a few off and on light showers. High of 46 on Sunday. Mostly cloudy with a high of 44. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 39.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
Like a touchdown on your radio dial. And home of the Packers. 1400 AM and 99.9 and 98.1 FM, WRJN.
You know, it's hard to find something unique for somebody nowadays. Last year, my wife gave me a star as a Christmas gift. I thought that was so sweet and so thoughtful. You know, it came with a certificate, a chart to show you where it was in the sky. They named it after me. It was really great. And then it dawned on me that most of the stars that we see in the sky don't exist anymore. They burnt out years ago. And we're seeing the light coming from light years away at us. So basically, last year, my wife got me nothing. She may as well have gotten me a gift card from Blockbuster Video. I mean, you know. Amazon said that if I like a star, well, I might also like an echo from the Grand Canyon.
It's 7:08 at WRJN Radio. I'm Don Rosen. I want to thank you for joining me here today at Civic Media Radio's WRJN Hometown Radio Refreshed. We're looking for increasing cloud cover today with a high near 51. Wait, let me check the calendar. December 15th, 51 degrees. Wow. Cloudy tonight, lows 40. Rain likely tomorrow after 12 noon, highs near 46. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 44. Right now, it's cloudy. We're up to 39 degrees. Mike Beno from Our Wisconsin Magazine joining me right now. And good morning, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and everything else to you, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Don. This is fun.
You know, what's the weather like up there? It's 51 degrees going to be today in Racine. 51 in December. That can't be.
Yeah, you know something? I'm far up in the north woods of Wisconsin, nearly to Upper Michigan. I'm sitting here in my office in Manitowish Waters, Wisconsin, north of Minocqua. And normally we have quite a bit of snow. To answer your question, it's above freezing. It's probably about 33 degrees right now, and we're heading for a big fat high of 41 degrees. Now, to put that in perspective, within the last 20 years, I've lived here full time that long, we would have 8 inches of ice on the lakes around here at this time. Right now, I wouldn't go out on one of those lakes. There's just a little bit of skim ice, and there's nearly no snow. I live in what's known as the Lake Superior Snow Belt in the town of Presque Isle, and we get a little bit of influence from Lake Superior. Don't bring your snowmobile up because you're going to be running on logs and dirt. So we're waiting for winter here too, but it's going to come. We know that.
Bring your bathing suit and kayak. Get ready. Have a good time.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, on my phone, I have the weather from Racine and a few other cities, including Antarctica. I've left that on there for years so I can see the weather in Antarctica. And during our summer, it's like 75, 80 below zero in Antarctica, and that's with the sun shining in the middle of the day. Today, they'll have a high of 5 above. That's rare. It's rare when you see Antarctica, where normally it's 80 below zero in, their winter. 5 above. Wow.
Wowie. Okay. Well, it's warm, and we have, as the ice shelves form up here, around Thanksgiving, head otters out there on the ice, and the neatest behavior, they lope when they run, they lumber along, they they do that for miles. This family of otters is lumbering across the ice, and then as they run, they stop, stretch out, and skid on their bellies like they're having fun right across that new ice. And all of them were doing it. It was very interesting to watch. Joyful, actually.
I don't know how the Penguins take 80 below zero. I really don't. But they're out there, and they seem to be having a good time. But I do check Antarctica all year long. I can't tell you why. Maybe it makes me feel warmer. Even though it's like 20 degrees here, it's 80 below or 75 below somewhere else. Maybe it makes me feel warmer. Our Wisconsin. Now, if you don't like cold weather in the winter, I probably tell you to go to Florida, southern Texas, or Hawaii. But if you do enjoy 4 real seasons a year, it's Wisconsin, because we actually have 4 real seasons: summer, winter, fall, and spring. My daughter moved to Florida. She's got 1 season. She's got summer and maybe late summer. Those are the 2 seasons down there. But we are so fortunate in this state to have 4 great seasons a year. So if you don't like winter, just wait a few months. Summer's coming, spring's coming. If you want snow, wait around. It'll be here, we hope. But up north, I'm looking at the picture. I opened Our Wisconsin magazine. My wife and I get this, the December-January issue. And you open it up, and there's this 2 giant pictures of 2 dogs frolicking in the snow. And I remember my Pomeranian, when it used to snow, I used to let her out, and she used to burrow her head into the snow and then pop up, burrow her head in again. She used to love the snow. My beagle, too, loved the snow. I don't know what it is with dogs, but they bite the snow, too. I don't know. That's about. These pictures in here are great, Mike. And this is the one with the editor's column you have here, Bounding into Winter.
Yeah, and the photos in the magazine are shared by photographers all across the state. The readers themselves also provide much of the material that we run. But we've got 2 dogs bounding through the snow on a lake in Russ County. One of our photographers, Suzanne von Schrader of Bruce, far to the northwest, and she's out there on the lake with her snowshoes, and she's got her dog out there, and she was dog sitting another one. Yellow Lab and German Shepherd are out there, and you see these dogs bounding through the snow. It's about the top of their legs almost, and it's just sheer joy, exuberance. They not only chew the snow, they roll in the snow and come up with a face full of it, and that's part of the joy of winter in Wisconsin. Yeah, some people in town need to use a snow blower and blow a little path for the dog in the winter, but we love our dogs around here, and yeah. That photo just shows sheer joy. 2 dogs bounding to you through the snow and the bright sunshine with everything glistening.
You know, if somebody wants to build a snowman, they've got a lot of competition. This snowman is 58 feet tall and weighs 166,000 pounds, and it's a real snowman. And this was built in, I'm not familiar with the town, though, Milltown in Polk County.
Yes, that's it's a little bit west of Rice Lake, Milltown. Interestingly, you're talking about a snowman 58 feet tall.
Yeah.
Interestingly, if you look on the map and find Milltown, there's also a town nearby named Bunyan. So I think this is fitting. Jeffrey the Snowman you're talking about, and he's become a landmark in wintertime in the tiny town of Milltown. It all started with a Christmas decorating contest in this little community, and a fellow, Craig Carlson, who runs a small construction business up there, decided to go all out and build a snowman, and Jeffrey has grown every year. They use a crane, they use a telehandler. He's smoking a pipe, which is a 55-gallon plastic barrel at the end. And it's a very sizable, jolly fellow. He's become the mascot of the town, and as I said, built with cranes and telehandlers and a big crew, and about 150 vehicles a day on the weekends stop by near Milltown and take photos and get out to look at this thing. It truly is an amazing landmark in Polk County. If you happen to be if you're going to take a winter trip driving up to that end of the state, Northwest, it's something to look for.
How are they going to have that snowman stay intact when it's 41 degrees outside?
Have faith, my friend.
You also, I love wild animal pictures, and you have an article here on this otter. And the picture is him laying on his back. Looks like he has not a care in the world. Looks like his taxes and property taxes aren't due for a while. He doesn't care about the credit card debt he ran up. He doesn't care about anything except he's looking at the photographer while he's laying on his back.
Yeah, otters have been, as I just mentioned, otters have a reputation for being playful. They skid on their backs down hills, and wildlife biologists have seen them lumber back up the hill to slide down again. They're astonishing animals because they're at home in the water just like fish. They can stay under long periods of time. They'll catch big fish. And under the ice, they will cache them and come back to eat them later. When you're out ice fishing, I don't know if that's going to happen around Racine, Kenosha this year. I think it will. But you got some holes drilled. All of a sudden, an otter will pop out. He'll look at you, and he'll have a fish in his mouth himself. And he says, hey, you dummies, what are you doing? Nearby here, the town of Boulder Junction, okay, there was a long-time tourist attraction named Aqualand, another one in Door County, too, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, long-standing. And in the 1950s, and they had wild animals, deer you could pet. This was all permitted. And they had otters going down the slides to delight the summer tourists. I was one of them as a kid. But I didn't know this until I talked to Bruce Wilsey, who was raised on Aqualand up here. He's now an older fishing guide, retired. In the 1950s, they filmed a Disney movie there at Aqualand in Boulder Junction called Flash the Teenage Otter.
I remember that. Yes, I do remember that.
You can Google it, YouTube. It was right here in Wisconsin in Boulder Junction.
Wow, that's a great little trivia question about our state. Yeah. Hold on a second. Mike Beno, editor of Our Wisconsin Magazine, is here. I've got so many different things to talk about, and I want to get it in before 7:30. Our Wisconsin Magazine, it's a treasure for the state of Wisconsin. I don't think every state's got a magazine dedicated to themselves like this magazine does. I'm Don Rosen. You're at WRJN at 7:18. Thanks for joining us here.
But baby, it's cold outside. But baby, it's cold.
No, it's not. It's not cold outside. It's going to be 51 degrees. Santa's going to have a sunstroke if this keeps up. Mike Beno, editor of Our Wisconsin Magazine, is here. Hi, Mike. Thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it.
You bet, Don.
Okay, so the first thing I check when I open the magazine, now it's not going to be the first thing anymore. It's the free trailer giveaway, the Our Wisconsin fifth wheel giveaway. And somewhere in the state of Wisconsin, in a park, public park, is a key, and you got to find it. And up until this month, Kenosha was still in there, in the running. No longer. Kenosha, Racine, out of the running. There are 12 more counties left where that key is hidden. Does it happen every year? Somebody does find it?
It happens, and I can tell you about somebody who found it pretty quickly, and it kind of ended the contest early. But, the story you're telling is about our treasure hunt, and so what we do to put a little bit of fun in the magazine is we take a key and we hide it in a park, public park, somewhere within this broad state of Wisconsin, and that's it could be a state park, community park, city park, township, town, any public park in the state. And we are giving away a teardrop trailer, a cute little rig. It's worth about $6,000. They're built in Wausau at TC Teardrops. A couple there. They had a ruined tent camping trip from the rain, and he decided there's got to be another way, and he built himself a little camper. And people, hey, that's pretty neat. Would you make me one? Sure. So anyway, it turned into a business. Now, in this treasure hunt, we hide the key, okay? And issue by issue, we print a map of the state, and 72 counties. We eliminate 10 counties each time, each issue. And we give clues, a series of clues, which we reprise each issue. So the mystery slowly unfolds, and people get out there and rummage through parks based on that map and on these clues, and hunt for the key. We ask them to bring a garbage bag along and do a public service by picking up some litter if they happen to be out there. In 12 years, we've given away 2 new cars, 2 new boats, boat motor rig packages. We've given away a couple of these little teardrop trailers, which, by the way, there's a rabid subculture of people who love these trailers. You can pull them with the smallest of cars, and you can trick them out with a rack on top for your kayaks, a bicycle rack on the carrier on the back. There's cargo storage on them, and people get together and compare all their gadgets and accessories when they're at the campground. Now, it usually takes about 8 months in this ongoing search for people to come up with that key, find it. This one has gone as far into the year as anyone has, and the mystery is continuing. So it's out there. That key is out there, and your listeners can get out there and win this trailer. One time, we were offering one of these, and that's why we're coming back with another one, because people barely had a chance at it. The key we hid was in Price County, near the town of Kennon, and we gave precisely 1 clue. Okay, we get a phone call, ring, ring. Hey, we found the package with the key. Here's the note that says we're calling with our secret code number to let you know we found this key. What? Did someone follow? I personally hit it. Did someone follow me? What happened was this key was hidden on a small metal building, which in a park, which happened near the ball field, which happened to be one of the old men's rooms in this rural ball field out there. Now, this building was still standing there while a brand new brick facility had been built some years ago. They had all modern facilities out there. So they had these old junky buildings, and the town said, we got to get rid of these, So the town commissioner, who's the fireman.
Okay. Yeah, I can see what's going to happen here. Go ahead.
You got a break coming?
No, go ahead. You're good.
Went to some people in the Amish community and said, hey, you want these buildings? You can have them. You could make them into a chicken coop on their farm. You could make it into some kind of a tool shed. So 4 Amish boys in their teens with their workhorses went out there with their hay wagon, and they were winching these things up, 2 of them, obviously, up onto their wagon with their Belgian horses, and a note falls out. Hey, look what I found. They stumbled over it. They weren't even looking. And hey, you want it fair and square, guys. Now, I'm wondering, how do you take that camper camping with your workhorses? I don't know. That's a puzzle they had to solve, but these kids want it, and they want it fair and square.
Right.
And that's what happens. We got a good story out of it, Don.
That's, a good reporter finds a story anywhere, right?
I guess so.
Hey, how do people subscribe to Our Wisconsin magazine? And I never recommend things, but I do recommend this magazine. It is so good. It's so much fun. It's so many articles I wanted to talk to you about, but we're out of time. So how do you subscribe to Our Wisconsin magazine?
Very simple. The toll-free number. Get your pens. It is 877-717-8925.
Say it again.
Okay, 877-717-8925.
And if you want to go to a website, you have a website?
We do, and that is our Wisconsin Mag, MAG.com.
If I'm ever up in Manitowish waters, I will definitely stop by and see you in person.
You do that, and you'll see our assistant editor, Chester, the Red Labrador, sitting here right at my feet. Through most of my career, I wore a tie, my friend. Now I can wear jeans and have a dog next to me because I can.
Hey, you want to wear jeans and dress sloppy? Work in radio.
You don't look that way.
Now I have guests in the studio, I gotta wear clean clothes and take a shower. But before that, I didn't have to do it. Oh, I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but this is a very important part of our house. We have so many issues laying there on our ottoman right in the living room. And when I get tired of watching television, I pick up this magazine and I get lost in it. And you can't believe how much time passes by. I wanted to talk to you. I don't have time now, but I did want to talk to you about the guy who has that railroad caboose in his backyard. I just want to know how he got it there. And I'm going to read the story, and maybe it tells you in the story how he got this thing in his backyard. But it's a real railroad car. So
it's in his front yard on Highway 47 near Rhinelander. Folks, you can drive by and see it. It's 19 tons, a big red two-line caboose.
I like to know how he got it there. Hey, Mike Beno, we got to talk to you before when the next issue comes out.
Thank you. We'll do that.
Hey, Mike, stay well. Have a great winter up there. Have a nice Christmas, a nice New Year, and I'll talk to you in the New Year, okay?
Happy holidays to everyone there.
Thank you. Mike Beno, editor of Our Wisconsin Magazine. Hold in there, Mike. It's 7:29 at WRJN Radio. We're talking movies. Coming up next. Rosen at WRJN on this December 15th, 10 days till Christmas, and a big Christmas holiday movie is opening just in time. It's good to see a good, fun family movie open up this time of year. And Bret Hoffmann of Marcus Theaters is here with me right now. And the big movie is Wonka, opening up this weekend, right?
That's right, Don. It premiered last night, and people are loving it. It has a certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes with 83% from the critics. It has an 87% audience rating, and this one is a fun one on the big screen. Let me tell you that.
I want to ask you something real quick. I noticed this in recent, maybe a year or two. Movies are opening on Thursday nights now instead of Friday. How'd that happen?
Yeah, pretty much every movie premieres on Thursday night. The official opening is Friday for the weekend, but every movie premieres. So some people don't know that yet. So if you're looking to see a movie, you really want to go out and see something, go out and check it out on Thursday night. You can see it first, and you can have a jump on the weekend in terms of knowing what's going on with the movies before anyone else.
You know, when I was a kid, they used to have sneak previews at the theaters. Sneak preview, a new major motion picture opening up in, 2 weeks. They don't do sneak previews anymore, do they?
Well, they still do that, and it's part of their strategy for some movies coming up. You'll see that. Oh. You'll see early access screenings. You'll see fan events. So check them out. People should check out our website, marcustheaters.com, or look around when there's a movie coming out that they may be interested in. But a good thing if you're interested is to always check for those Thursday nights or the night before releases, because the movies are definitely out, and that is where you get a lot of a lot of the fans coming out and a lot of the fandom in terms of people dressing up and in terms of people going all out because they really want to see it first.
Let's talk about Wonka now. This is not the Willy Wonka movie like you think. This is the prequel to how he got this whole chocolate factory, right?
That's right. It's the early story of Willy Wonka. He has dreams of opening up a shop in a city renowned for chocolate, but, he quickly discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers. But the cast in this and the story is amazing because Timothy Chalamet stars as Wonka, Hugh Grant stars as an Oompa Loompa, and both of them do a tremendous job. When you look at Timothy Chalamet, I think people are going to compare him to Gene Wilder. And, of course, Gene did such a great job in the original film, but I think Timothy is a tremendous Wonka. And I also think that Timothy can carry the torch here, even though it's a prequel. He'll carry it right now, and I think there's a lot of storyline and a lot of runway for this movie going forward. And we can see a lot of different Wonka incarnations. And based on the quality of this movie, I definitely think you'll see that because he does a great job, and Hugh Grant is hilarious as an Oompa Loompa. He is funny throughout the whole movie, and he definitely steals the show in the scenes that he's in. So anyone that's a Hugh Grant fan or just a comedy fan, they're going to love watching Hugh Grant do what he does in this film.
People don't realize that original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is 52 years old. I think it came out in 71, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. But I think it came out in 1971, so it's a pretty, it's been a while. Now, Johnny Depp also played Willy Wonka in the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right?
Yeah, that's right, and that was a few years ago, too. And I think this one, that was more of a retelling of that classic story. This is a prequel, but I think this one does a tremendous job, and I think we'll see a lot of these stories going forward. And let me tell you, the director, Paul King, who we know from Paddington and Paddington 2 and some other things that he's done, he does a tremendous job bringing this all together. The scenes are vibrant, the magic is spectacular, and I wouldn't call this a musical, but there are definitely musical numbers in it, too, just like the original one.
Yeah.
So if you're looking,
a hit song came from the original one. I think Sammy Davis Jr. had it. I can't remember the name of it now, but I know it was a hit song.
So, I mean,
I'll think of it.
Just like that. Yeah, just like that. There's plenty of great content and great things in here. And also, in Racine, this is a movie that is made for the big screen. And in Racine at a Renaissance Cinema, you can see this on the Ultra Screen DLX. You can see it on the Super Screen DLX. But also, you can travel to see this movie a couple different ways. If you just go south to Gurney Mills Cinema, you'll be able to see it on the 40X there, which is the auditorium with motion seats and special effects, including wind, fog, rain, scents, and all of that is perfectly synced to the movie. Or you can drive to our ScreenX auditorium, which is at our Ridge Cinema in New Berlin, and there you can see movies that expand the action onto the sidewall. So it expands the action onto the sidewall into 3 screens. It's a 270-degree panoramic view during select scenes of Wonka. So between 40X at Gurney, ScreenX at Ridge Cinema, or right there in Racine at Renaissance on the Ultra Screen and the Super Screen DLX, there are so many great ways to see this movie. And let me tell you, all of those ways can't be replicated at home for this type of a film.
And this big hit song was The Candyman Can. Remember that? Sammy Davis Jr.
I definitely do.
That was a top 10 hit for Sammy Davis Jr., The Candyman. Veronica Salt is one of the characters in the original Willy Wonka. It was also the name of a band. They named it after her, Veronica Salt, back in the 70s or 80s. I forget when it was. All right, so we got Wonka opening this weekend. We've got a couple of big movies opening Christmas Day. I don't know when it all happened, but after people open their presents and they eat their lunch, they said, off to the movies. And I've been in some Christmas dinners where it ended early just to go to the movies. And what's playing Christmas Day? Got some big movies, including Ferrari opening up, right? With the Adam Driver.
There are great big movies up that whole week, and I tell people these movies are all on sale right now, so plan your events with their family. Christmas Day and the day after are 2 of the busiest days of the year for us, so go check out a movie, but go get your advance tickets and look these up, because, as you said, the week is packed, and there's something for everyone. If I run down the list, you've got Jason Momoa coming back in the action-adventure Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's going to be on our large ultra screens, and it's also going to be in 3D. You've got an animated movie called Migration. This is from Universal Pictures, and it's put out by Illumination. This is the group that's done Minions, Despicable Me, the Super Mario Brothers movie. They do great animation, and this is going to be a wonderful movie about a family of ducks convincing their father to migrate for the vacation of a lifetime. You mentioned Ferrari. That's coming out. Adam Driver stars as Enzo Ferrari. Penelope Cruz is his wife. Shailene Woodley is also in the movie. 3 great performances that are going to be wonderful for anyone that loves cars or just loves history, or even is a cinephile that loves great performances.
Isn't it odd that Adam Driver is in the movie about Ferrari?
Yeah, they planned that out, but obviously he does a great job in this. And The Color Purple is coming out as well, and this is a musical based upon the novel and Broadway musical, and that's getting some great accolades. And a lot of people have seen that movie already because it was available by Warner Brothers for group sales. So a lot of people have come and seen this movie. They are loving it, and I think The Color Purple is another excellent choice for people this weekend because between that, there's a George Clooney movie he directs called The Boys in the Boats, which is another history movie about the University of Washington team that gets into the Olympics, the 1936 Olympics, and ends up beating the Nazis there. And then there's even a romantic comedy. There's a movie, Anyone But You. It's a romantic drama about 2 individuals pretending to be a couple at a destination wedding. So there you go. You can't have any more of a wider spectrum of movies.
Wait a second.
Than what we just went through.
Are you telling me The Color Purple actually had a sneak preview? I was just telling you I don't see them anymore, and there you go. So they had a sneak preview of The Color Purple. Yeah, it was a huge Broadway musical, and when they first announced, I said, how are they going to make a musical out of that? But they did, and it was a major hit on Broadway, and they're starting to bring some of the Broadway musicals back to the theaters. They're not smash hits like they were in the 60s, but they do find an audience. And many of them, one of them during COVID, it came out, unfortunately. It was about the kid with the cast on his arm, and I can't think of the name of the thing offhand here because my memory's gone. It was a musical. Remember the kid had the cast on the arm? Oh, I can't think of the name of that movie. But anyway, it was what's that?
I'm blanking too, Don. I'm sorry.
You can't hear? Oh, you're blacking out on that too? I'll think of it after we hang up. Now, you still have some holiday films. I'll think of it in a second. We still have some holiday films out there, right? At theaters?
Oh, most certainly. At the Renaissance this weekend, you've got a variety of films. Go out and check these out. Again, it's a great communal experience to go watch these holiday movies. There's a couple coming out. There's Fred Claus. That's going to be at the theater this weekend. That stars Vince Vaughn, Paul Giamatti, and Elizabeth Banks. The Polar Express is still running in our theaters by popular demand. Excellent movie that's now 20 years old, starring Tom Hanks, directed by Robert Zemeckis. It's an animated movie. Elf with Will Ferrell, we cannot take out of our theaters. People are loving, they're coming to Elf, they're having a great time with their families watching Elf, so that is there this weekend. And that's joined by National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, always a classic. And then we have a special event that's going on through this weekend. It's Christmas with the Chosen Holy Night. It's the series from Angel Studio. It's this episode, Holy Night, and this one has some new songs and additional music performances. So there are a lot of fans out there of the Chosen series, and Christmas with the Chosen Holy Night is playing on the big screen through this weekend. So plenty of great classic movies and other holiday films to go see this weekend at the Renaissance Cinema in Racine.
The movie was Dear Evan Hansen. The Broadway musical Dear Evan Hansen. Unfortunately, it fell right during COVID, when movie theaters were closed and they weren't getting a big play. And then I guess it just appeared at a few theaters here and there, but it was such a good movie. It was based on the Broadway musical Dear Evan Hansen, which was a major hit. And they brought the Broadway cast to the movies, which is really good. I think one of the first movies I saw with my wife when we were dating was at the South Shore Cinema, Rent, when it opened up. The movie musical Rent. It was one of the first movies we saw together. So maybe it was that movie that brought us together at your theater. And he made us get married. I didn't propose to her at the theater, by the way. It wasn't then. All right, so could you think of any major movies to look forward to in 2024? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Any big, huge titles coming out in 2024 that you know of offhand?
You know, there are some great, huge titles coming out, and I think things that people can look forward to immediately. There is Mean Girls, the musical, which is coming out in mid-January.
Speaking about musicals, yeah, okay.
Yes, so there you go. There's another Mean Girls coming out. It's based upon the hit musical Mean Girls, and that is going to be amazing. People are absolutely going to love that one. That is a great one coming out. Then there's a bunch of movies coming out in 2024 to look forward to, and we can recap all of those coming up. Dune Part 2 is coming out in March. Everyone is looking forward to this movie. They just released some new trailers on that movie. Check out Dune Part 2 and make sure to catch up on Dune Part 1 because Warner Brothers has something special there with Dune Part 2. And then throughout the whole entire year, you can look at it. There's things for families like Kung Fu Panda 4. There's things for everyone like Ghostbusters, a new Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire. Warner Brothers is bringing out a new Godzilla and Kong movie that's coming out. So plenty of great movies coming out in 2024 to look forward to. And, but like I said, there's something for everyone this holiday season. Those will hold over into January, and then January is going to be something special because we've got Mean Girls and a bunch of other content that I think people are going to love. The cinema's back. The cinema's there, and everyone needs to go check out these great movies the way they were meant to be seen on the big screen.
I can't believe Godzilla probably made more movies than any other actor in Hollywood. I mean, when you think about it, how many movies has Godzilla made? I had a movie soundtrack CD of every Godzilla movie. It was a double disc set because there were so many of them. Bret Hoffmann, I'll talk to you next week, and you have a fantastic week and get ready for the holidays with your family, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, Brett?
Sounds very good. Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Brett. From Marcus Theaters, Bret Hoffmann. Always appreciate Brett. It's 7:48. We're talking sports with Mike Clemens coming up next. Don't move. Civic Media sports guru, Mike Clemens is here. Hi, Mike. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. I had something to tell you, a good trivia question, and it just fell out of my head. When I answered the phone, I said, don't forget to tell them. And that's how fast. 25 seconds.
I know.
I can't.
By the way, let me check. Let me check my wallet. Oh, yeah, I am Mike Clemens. Okay, yeah. I got that.
Hey, before we start talking, did you see that temper tantrum that Patrick Mahomes threw the other night?
Yeah, you know what? I joked with where you're talking about where he banged his helmet in frustration.
Well, they had to call back a touchdown.
Yeah, because they said it was offsides. It looked like a beautiful play, and they came back and said that the guy was lined up. And then they've had a lot of video stills of that. They say, no, the guy was offsides.
Yeah, he was. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but there's been several unusual calls that have again question what NFL referees are doing these days. I kind of think one of the reasons it never quite gets fixed, like to have like some guy that can make calls for watching a TV monitor up in the press box or in New York or something, and actually interrupt the game and say you guys missed one, is because I think Roger Goodell likes the bad headlines. Honestly,
but
it's just it's another way to get it in the news.
I heard one sports guys say, a player, an athlete say, we all gripe about the bad calls, but we never talk about the ones where we got kissed. It was a bad call that went in our favor.
Yeah,
they don't talk about those.
Right. So so I said to Jordan Love, after we got done talking to him for about 15 minutes the other day, as the huddle was breaking up, I said, hey, by the way, because he's coming off a frustrating loss against the Giants. And I said, hey, if you really get upset during a game, don't spike your helmet, right? Because Red Batty, the equipment manager, who's been like 40 years, he'll be all over you. And he laughed. He thought that was pretty fun. Yeah, no, man, you don't want to get on Red's bad side. Because as a matter of fact, that happened to the Packers. Darnell Savage, a good guy, good player most of the time, but he kind of has his ups and downs. And so last week he makes a tackle against the Giants, and he gets shook up. He also whiffed badly on a couple of open field tackles. And so he has to trot off because he's kind of banged up. He's shook up. And he's frustrated that some guy, beat them with a big gain. And he takes his helmet and he's spiking it. So while he's taking a breather, trying to get his breath back, now he can't get back on the next series because Red Batty is fixing his helmet. You're like, don't spike the helmet, man. Just be ready. Do the best you can.
Okay, so the Packers lose to the Giants, and now they're taking on Tampa Bay, the Bucs. And that's coming up this Sunday, right?
Sunday at noon. The weather looks pretty good, but the Packers have got a new problem. A.J. Dillon, who's been your number 2 back, but number 1 all this year because Aaron Jones has been out first with a hamstring injury, now with a sprained MCL in his left knee. A.J. Dillon, on the second to last play the Packers had on offense in New York, he took the ball and was carrying it. He said, I was running at the right angle, but a linebacker came and drilled his helmet into the back of his hand, broke his thumb on his right hand. I don't think you could play running back with just one hand. You switch the ball back and forth. Anyway, he's got this glove that looks like an MMA fighter glove on his right hand, and so there's Aaron Jones still trying to trot around on the practice field, limited in practice, trying to come back from this MCL from 3-4 weeks ago, and now that leaves Patrick Taylor, a guy who's been on and off the roster as your lead running back going into Sunday's game. So that could greatly affect your run game against the Buccaneers.
Also heard Bill Belichick could be done now with football, right?
There's some people that have rumored that, hey, how about Bill Belichick as the Packers' next defensive coordinator? I got to tell you, I've been in the room with Bill Belichick over a half dozen times because I cover the Super Bowl every year and when the Packers have played him. But I have never seen the guy so shook up than when the Packers were playing the Patriots this summer. They'd had 2 or 3 days of joint practices, then they had a preseason game. And I think it was like late in the third quarter or start of the fourth where one of their players got hit, in the helmet, and I mean, he was motionless there for a while. And they took him to the hospital. He was okay, but he's been on injured reserve for the rest of the year. I've never seen Belichick so shook up. And as he stood there waiting for some microphones to get fixed in the post-game press. They called the game early, remember? He came across the field and said to Matt LaFleur, I think I've got enough in. How about you? After a couple of days of joint practices. So they canceled the rest of the game, the preseason game. And as I saw Belichick there, I thought, he just had that kind of look on his face like, man, I'm getting too old for this. I'm getting too old.
And he's with the Patriots now, for now anyway.
Yeah. But, did you see the score last night? The Chargers lost to the Raiders like 63-21 or something. Maybe the Chargers will be looking for a new head coach. Maybe he goes across the country and becomes the Chargers' new head coach.
You're forgetting people who get up at 4 a.m. tend to go to bed about 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
I understand. I've been there.
And we have just a few seconds left. A 64-pointer for the Bucs on Thursday night. But I told that to my brother, and he said, that's nothing. Wilt Chamberlain once scored 100 points in one game.
Yeah, that's true. But that's a record for the Bucks. And Giannis wanted the game ball, and he came across the court. And one of the assistant coaches from the Pacers started winding up the tunnel. He wanted to save it for one of their players that had scored his first NBA points. And then Giannis ended up chasing him up the tunnel. There's a big controversy as whether or not the Pacers just gave him some ball instead of the game ball. that controversy and mystery continues.
Mike Clemens, I'll talk to you next Friday. Thanks a lot. You keep the sports coming for Civic Media. Do appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks, Don.
Bye-bye now. Mike Clemens, our sports director for Civic Media, the sports guru. At 7:58, I'm Don Rosen. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will catch you Monday morning, 6 a.m., bright and early once again. We got a full week of guests. You keep it right here. Civic Media's Hometown Radio Refreshed. That's WRJN, 1400 AM, 99.9 FM, and 98.1 FM in Kenosha. Enjoy your weekend, okay? Catch you Monday.